Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Okay, doctors, what I want to talk about today is chiropractic's too small. It's way too small. I'm doing things to actually help in my own way, but I want to really point out the fact that chiropractic is too small. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, what I mean by that is chiropractic. I think chiropractic should be one of the most senior healthcare systems in the country. And chiropractic is a system. It's unique as a system. It's unique as a science. And the science of chiropractic should pervade all of the other healthcare sciences and start to align those sciences so that we can get a healthier country, so we can get healthier people, so that costs in the market are not nearly as expensive as they are today. And we can start to change the healthcare system that we're all part of. But we're actually too small. So right now, chiropractic as an industry is about 0.3%. That's a third of 1% of the total market. That's infinitesimally small. It's very, very small. We have about a $15 billion market in a $3.65 trillion market. So we have 15 billion. We have about 40,000 offices throughout the United States. If we look at the physical therapy market, they're more than triple our size. They're about $46 billion. And their market is projected to grow quite significantly. Now, we are not in competition with physical therapists. We're not in competition with medicine. We're in competition with ourselves. One of the things I love is when I'm in personal injury space and I see the Morgan & Morgan signs, the largest law firm in the country for personal injury, and they say size matters. And size does matter. Size does matter because we can get a lot done with we can get a lot done if we will get a lot bigger. So the injury market is the area where I say, gosh, it's the easiest place to get a lot bigger. Okay, the injury market itself in 2013 was an $820 billion market. Okay, remember, we do 15 billion of that. Right? Now, that's in 2000. Those are 2013 numbers. This could have easily doubled. Right? This could easily be at the 1.4 trillion, 1.5, 1.6 trillion dollars mark. Now, it's easy. It's a very, very easy market. So why does chiropractic stay small? Well, we stay small because we argue with each other. We attack each other. It's the most ridiculous thing. Chiropractic has as a science and a philosophy this thing. It says alignment improves function. That is both the philosophy and the science of chiropractic. Alignment improves function. Alignment of the spine improves function. That's all. It's that simple. Right? But we argue. We argue because we really don't know what a science and philosophy is. Right? So a science is an organized body of knowledge on a particular subject organized to solve problems. Behavioral science, behavioral problems. Medical science, medical problems. Metal science, metal problems. Agricultural science, agricultural problems. Solar science, solar problems. Space science, space problems. Okay, so a science is an organized body of knowledge organized to solve problems in a particular area. That's all it is. Philosophy is the reason why you organize in the first place. You can't have a science without a philosophy. You can't have an organized body of knowledge to solve problems without a reason to solve the problems or a reason why you organize it in the first place. The reason why you organize it in the first place is the philosophy. So science and philosophy are inherent. You can't separate them. Can't have one without the other. It's like ice. You got to have cold and you got to have water. Can't have one without the other. Can't have just water with no cold. You have no ice. Can't have ice without water. You won't have ice. Can't have a science without a philosophy. It's like ice, cold and water. Okay, so the proponents out there that keep going over and over and over ad nauseum, all it does is keeps us small. They're stupid. I'm going to point one out right now. And I'm not picking on anybody when I read this. This is a guy, I just read this in a post. He says, hey, this is why I don't adjust subluxation. So he doesn't like the word subluxation. He doesn't adjust subluxations. This is rationale why. It says the word and definition was established in the medical community before it was used in the chiropractic community. I don't know. I don't know that that's true. The first, there wasn't a chiropractic community before there was a chiropractor. At first, there was just one chiropractor. And then he multiplied and there were a number and a number and a number. So I don't know. I always thought it was the first chiropractor, but I don't know that to be true. Doesn't matter. I think when it was first used by chiropractors, they thought it was the same lesion. Well, it's a misalignment of the vertebra. Chiropractors say misalignment of the vertebra causes nerve interference. So the lesion is an injury. Lesion is damage. So I don't know. It's the same damage. I don't know the difference between a lesion. Once we determined it was not, who determined it was not? The word was ingrained into our lexicon and it was too difficult to remove it. So we adopted it. It was too difficult to remove it. So it confuses MDs when we use the word outside of their definition. I've never met a doctor, a medical doctor, where I said, hey, what's a subluxation? Where they had a definite definition of it. What's a spinal subluxation? Ask medical doctors, what's a spinal subluxation? See what happens. They're just as confused as the chiropractic community is. Right? So he goes on to say, over the course of time, chiropractors started to attach stuff onto this subluxation in its whole correction. The whole innate thing, the power, nerve pinch, flow, etc., stuff that can't be scienced. Now, I've never heard that word scienced. We should take, this phone and get it scienced. I don't know what that totally means, but I get the idea of it is that it can't have science applied to it. Well, there's not a thing on this planet that's not in a science. Everything is scienced. Okay? Now, science, organized body of knowledge, organized to solve things. So he says the whole innate thing, the power, nerve pinch, flow, stuff can't be science. That's okay for a belief system. Okay, what's a belief system? A belief system is absence of verification. So if I can't verify something, if I can't verify what is there, then I have to have a belief about what's there, or I could be persuaded to believe something was there. So a belief system is the absence of verifiable knowledge. Okay, that's okay for a belief system, but not much for those in a healthcare system. Okay, healthcare system. What healthcare system? You talking the United States healthcare system? It's broken. It's a bad system. It's an archaic system. It's a bad system. I mean, try to fix something in the United States. If you have a chronic condition, try to fix something. United States healthcare system basically is drug access care. It's not healthcare. It's a bad system. Chiropractic has a better system. And I'll prove it to you in just a second. It has a much better system. So it says that's okay for a belief system, but not much for those in a healthcare system. It's just better not to confuse, not to use this word. So what do I adjust? Basically sprain strains of the spine. Okay, now that's really general. Are they unique compared to extremity sprains? You bet. Okay, what makes them unique? What makes them different? What makes that ligament different? Okay, can I adjust them? Can adjusting them have strange benefits? It appears so. Do we know how that may happen? Nope. Okay, so this guy's in a belief system. He's applying a belief system. He's basically saying, look, there's something here. I think if I apply an adjustment to it, have no idea why it's going to help, but I'm pretty sure it's going to help. That's a belief system. So one of the things that's really interesting is the people that actually, they're accusing, hey, this isn't science-based. You're not science-based. You're not science-based. Are usually not science-based. Right? People that are screaming, hey, you're not philosophical. You're not philosophical. You're not philosophical. Are not necessarily philosophical. Right? So all I'm saying here is, again, this isn't to actually generate any arguments or anything else. It's we have to stop arguing. We have to align. We're too damn small. We're too damn small as a group. It says here, does everybody need to be adjusted on a regular basis? He goes on. Does everyone need to be adjusted on a regular basis? I guess that depends on what the goal is. Some seem to do better with regular care. Most live happy and productive lives, never getting adjusted. Okay, how do they know? How would you know? It can't be scienced. Okay, here again. If most live a productive life, never getting adjusted, how do you know that they wouldn't had a happier, more productive life if they were getting adjusted? That's when you scienced this thing. Okay, so let's take a look at this, right? So we spend a lot of time and energy arguing with one another. All right, so let's go to, this is published in, this is science now, right? This is published, there's peer reviewed, so we got the double quotes. This is science. Journal of Manipulative Physical Therapy, 2007, May 30th. A new retrospective analysis of 70,274 member months in a 7-year period with an independent physician association comparing medical management to chiropractic management demonstrated with chiropractic management as the primary care provider in a medical setting demonstrated decreases in 60.2% in hospital admission rates, 59% less hospital days if admitted, 62% less outpatient surgeries and procedures, and 83% reduction in pharmaceutical costs. That's science. Who produced that? Richard Sarnot, an MD. An MD went to Blue Cross Blue Shield, sold them that chiropractic as a primary health care system would be a better system than medicine and would have vast savings. And they proved it. They proved it in a major way. Now, one of the things they said is, we believe that there's a short window of opportunity for the profession to claim its rightful place at the table. Already we're seeing scientific journals and studies of practitioners with other licensures who take minimal courses on adjustment who also claim they can achieve similar or better results to chiropractic physicians who study 4 years or more. That's never been tested, so watch out if that happens. Our greatest fear is that the chiropractic profession will continue to be so mired in its historical internal discordances that it will miss this golden opportunity to assume the world leadership. Right? Now, these doctors, by the way, what happened in this study? In this study, the person would come in, you'd sign up for a PCP. I get Dr. Kronk, he's my chiropractor. Good. So they get a letter. Hey, come on in. Let Dr. Kronk evaluate you. I get to evaluate him. If I thought chiropractically there was anything that I needed to correct or fix, I got to do whatever I wanted. In this study, they said that they didn't feel anything below 20 visits. So in this study, they didn't feel that anything could be corrected in less than a minimum of 20 visits. And he said, our belief. Oh my gosh, he's a philosopher. This is Richard Sarnot, the guy who pulled this off. Our belief is that a minimum of 20 visits are required to impact the lifestyle choices that account for 75% of the etiology of disease. How can this possibly be achieved in 1 or 2 visits? So what they would do is, I get to do anything I want to, and then basically I got to treat you. They recommended you see me every 2 or 3 weeks thereafter. That's called maintenance care. We are philosophically against discount programs and affinity programs, any contractual relationships that would limit access to the patient to a chiropractic physician for a token number of visits per year. We will not participate in either of these types of plans, right? So here's a nice thing, right? They're doctors. Historically, our PCPs, these chiropractors, have been paid at a higher rate than any family practitioner, internal medicine physician, pediatrician, etc., nationwide. Because we did this because we believe the cost offsets outcome more than would equalize the increased fees paid. I believe chiropractors should be paid minimum $250,000 a year. I believe a new grad coming into the chiropractic profession should be able to get a job that's $200,000, $250,000. What's the matter with that? Why can't a typical chiropractor make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year? Why not? The cost savings in the market are astronomical. Why not? Because we're too small. Because we argue. We let these internal, and just look. If you go out to these sites and you watch watch the arguments. Usually it's like the same people are arguing, just arguing. Okay, all that does is keeps us small. It just keeps us divided. Remember, alignment improves function. If you have a misaligned marriage, it's not functional. If you have a misaligned business, it's not functional. If you have a misaligned contract, it's not functional. Not as functional as it can be. Right? Alignment improves function. It's true for everything, single thing. It's true for organizations. It's true for people. It's true for the spine. It's true for relationships. Alignment improves function. We should be very proud of the fact that that is our science and our philosophy, and get on with it. Get on with proving, accumulating data, make it better. Take this study by Richard Sarnoff. How can we make it better? First of all, do we have to make it better? No. Do we have to make it better? No. Now people will attack this. Oh my gosh, it wasn't scienced enough. Well, what the hell? This was historic. And it gets a yawn. I don't know, as a group, this should be something that we're putting up, because again, I believe that we should be dominating especially in the injury market. We should be dominating that market, absolutely dominating it. Doctors, on these podcasts, what I do is just take a short riff on it a little bit. Hopefully you got something from it. The next time that you're looking at arguing chiropractors, help them get over the argument. Help them get over that. We should be helping one another. When you see somebody that's succeeding, that's actually doing well, congratulate them. Be happy for them. Support them. Don't try to tear them down. Don't try to tear. We need to stop tearing each other down. We are not the actual enemy. We need to compete not against ourselves. Hell, we're like tiny. We're teeny tiny. We don't need to compete amongst ourselves. We need to take more ground competing against others in the market, not each other. Again, short riff. If you liked what you heard, give me a comment. If you want to call us at 800-940-6513 and you want to hear me talk about a particular topic, just let us know what that is. If you want to check out any of our programs, it's called Smart Injury Doctors. You can go to smartinjurydoctors.com and check us out. Doctors, thank you very much for your time and attention on this podcast. And I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review and don't forget to join us on our next program.